Hey everybody, today we are talking about how to learn tunes for the beginner to intermediate player. And by tunes we mean standards, stuff out of the American songbook, stuff out of the real book, whatever. Tunes that you're going to be taking to a jam session.
Jazz songs.
Jazz songs. So we've worked out a hypothetical way of going about that, and it's going to start with, it's assumed that you have a chart already, so you need a chart to the tune. So yeah, get your chart, take a look at it, and make sure it's all there, it's copied right, you know what key it's in, and so you are going to, let's see, what did we get first here, is find the recording. So, yeah, you're learning jazz, it's a language. You're going to need to know what it sounds like, what it sounds like when the natives are speaking it. So, go and do your best to find definitive recordings. That is, if it's a Thelonious Monk song, make sure that you at least find, a version of Thelonious Monk playing it. If it's a Duke Ellington song, make sure it's a Duke Ellington recording. Anything. If it's a Charlie Parker tune, if it's a...
Yeah.
Yeah, you want definitive recordings. There are good people around right now recording, making wonderful interpretations, their own versions of this stuff, but you should at least start with the originals. Yeah, and so you're going to find the recordings and you're going to listen to them.
A bunch of them.
Yeah.
Find a bunch of them.
Yeah, find 10 different versions
Sure.
of all the things you are, or whatever it is you're learning. And you want to run these records ragged, right? Records.
Records.
Whatever it is.
8-track.
Yeah. And you want to just listen to it over and over and over and over again. And you basically want to memorize the tune. When you're done, the answer to can I sing along with it should be yes. So you should have the melody, the sound of the melody memorized, and ultimately, preferably, all of the should be able to sing along with all the solos, everything. So once you have got that taken care of, then it should go without saying that you know how to play the melody on your instrument. So yeah, learn the melody. Be able to sing the melody. Okay, what do we got next? Yeah, so now we're moving on to jumping on a piano, learning the changes. So we thought a good place to start would be learn the first, the third, and the seventh. So these are root position chords. Say if you got a C7 chord, you want to play the 1, the 3, and the dominant 7. So the next thing you should be able to do is to sit down on a piano, and you don't have to do it fast. And this is just for the purpose of getting your ears accustomed to how the form works, how the chords work. So play the first, third, and the seventh of the chords on your left hand, on your right hand on the piano. Just pick out the melody. It doesn't have to be virtuosic. You don't have to be using good technique, unless you're a piano player. But yeah, you just want to be able to. What you're going for is, is listening how the chords interact with the melody, and going slow will do just that.
Yeah, even if you're not a piano player.
Yeah.
Pick out that root, the third. If it's a minor chord, it'll be the minor third, of course. If it's the dominant chord, it'll be flat 7, etc., etc. Or a major 7 if it was a major chord,
Yeah, change by change, measure by measure, and you just listen. Just listen to how just how it makes you feel, how this measure of the melody sounds over this change, or 2 changes, or whatever. Okay, now so moving on. Then you got the changes. You want to make sure that you have all of the scales and arpeggios associated with those changes under your fingers, as it were. So can you play, you know, if we have a C7, an F7, an A minor, a D7, flat 9, all this stuff, can you play? Make sure you can play those respective scales up and down, and those seventh chords up and down, and yeah, work your way through it that way. I'm not sure this is.
We've gone over a lot of that stuff on how to play through these chords. So if you don't know about your seventh chords, or you haven't done those exercises, you can check some of our earlier videos on being able to practice those chords. You should know what they are.
Right. Okay, so let's assume you know what they are, and you've gone through this part of the process, learning the chord changes. But this is actually for on your instrument, on your own instrument.
Right.
Yeah, playing the scales and the arpeggios.
Yeah, we're talking about maybe playing piano, and holding the sustain pedal down, playing that on saxophone or trumpet or whatever your instrument is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what this part of it is.
Sure.
Is that what we were talking about?
I think that was just learning the changes.
Oh, okay.
But you can totally do that with it. That's what we're going to move on to next. Is the sustain chords.
I got ahead of myself. Sorry.
But might as well do that with the sustain chords.
Sure.
Yeah. Practice your arpeggios and your scales. So next, once you've done that, this is the sustain chords practice, and which is exactly what Mark said, is get on a piano. For us, it's a saxophone. You got your saxophone, and you hit the sustain pedal, pluck down the chord, and do your scale, do your arpeggios, and then you riff on top of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got an F sharp minor 7 chord, hit it on piano, let it ring, keep your foot on the sustain pedal, and just play around with that sound, chord by chord.
Mm-hmm.
You can spend a minute, 2, 3, 5 minutes on every single chord, so you're comfortable with that in a modal way. Yeah.
I'm going to add one more thing.
All right.
I think that it's really important, if you can learn, when you learn these songs, if they have words to them, if they have a lyric, if you can learn that lyric, then your playing will be more lyrical. People have asked me about that. How can I make my playing more lyrical, more melodic? Well, if you knew the words to the song, if you were playing the song and the words meant something to you, or the words mean something in context, then you know the context of the song. This gets to actually, maybe I just opened up a big can of worms going back and listening to the real roots of these songs, which is American musicals.
Sure.
And most people haven't gone that far back, including myself. I haven't done all that work. So I don't know what the songs mean in context of how they were written, because they're that's American.
Sure.
American songwriting.
Yeah, that's a great point, though. Yeah, knowing the words to find better lyricism in your playing.
Or if you're going to learn how to play this song as it was played by Miles Davis, the phrasing, if you phrase like Miles Davis, you will not embarrass yourself. you
no,
won't.
That's true. No, you won't. No, you'll impress your friends and your coworkers.
Yeah. But you'll sound more professional.
Yeah.
If
by trying to emulate his phrasing.
Yeah, by trying to emulate Miles Davis, or people who phrase beautifully, playing melody, like Dexter Gordon or Chet Baker or somebody like that.
Yeah.
These are great people to emulate just for their phrasing alone on the melody. And that was my only point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally. And which is what we had talked about first, about just listening to the recording. The first thing you do. I wanted to mention something else really quick about the words. and that is, it also helps knowing the words, because these songs were written, you know, in tandem with the words. They, and where they make leaps and how the phrases are built are based off you know, language.
Sure.
Right, and there are some neat things that you, when you're aware of that you can do, and the simplest of which on a wind instrument is, if you ever see the word, you know, the letter T in a song in the lyrics, you know, it goes without saying that you should probably be tonguing that part, and you can really, when you know the words, you can really see how naturally something should be slurred. You know, you got a bunch of vowel sounds, you got consonants here, and you could see, well, it's like, okay, I'll slur that, I'll tongue that, I'll tongue that. Mm-hmm. Right, where C, K, T, mm-hmm. D, you know, these things, and when you're paying attention to the words, to the lyrics, you'll see that it's not arbitrary, you know, where these notes fell, where leaps are, where steps are. Mm-hmm. You know, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. When you understand the lyrics. So look at that stuff.
Yeah, and another point, just along with that point, is learning the lyrics. You can phrase that melody beautifully. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I hear a lot of young players phrase melodies, but they don't really know what the true melody is, because they haven't gone back far enough.
Right. Yeah.
So if you do know the lyric, it will really come out. Yeah. And that's a big deal, I think, you know, in playing melody, and playing melody really well. I think your music stands alone. I think it stands a little higher, you know, as far as what you have to say, if you can play the melody beautifully. I don't know. Sure. That's just my own take, you know.
Yeah, yeah. If you're gonna get if you're gonna have a fundamental understanding of a song that has or had lyrics at one point, you might as well go back to the beginning. You might as well go as far back as you can go.
Sure. Why not?
And then it's your prerogative whether you want to depart from that. Yeah, then there's the idea of you can't break the rules until you know them. So, right. Then you have every right to mess with the tune as much as you want to.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's finish this up.
All right.
That is next on the list is put on the record and play with it.
Yeah.
So we've gone through all this business, and the song is under our fingers. We know the changes. Hopefully, at that point, you'll memorize the changes. Please memorize them. You know that first measure is this change, second measure is this chord, third measure is this chord, and so on.
Yeah.
Maybe that probably should be in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That you've memorized the chords.
Yeah. Sure, I'll put that up here. This is not really in order. I kind of ran out of room here, but you got the idea.
Maybe we could step aside at some point.
Sure, we'll do that at the end of the video.
Yeah.
Memorize chords.
Yeah. So while he's getting that up there, yeah. So this is all done with. You're going to put on the recording, and you're going to just play with it, play over it, and this is, don't be embarrassed. And this is something that everyone's done. The history of jazz is full of stories like this of these master players putting on records
and just playing with records.
Playing with records.
Sure.
Yeah.
Everybody's been doing this forever.
Forever and ever.
I know lots of musicians who have been completely self-taught, and they're wonderful musicians, and they just tell me, "Oh yeah, I just played along with all my records, and this is how I play," and it's eye-opening.
Yeah,
it's eye-opening because they're amazing.
Trust us, it's good for you.
What could be better than playing with the masters?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, do that.
Just don't put it on YouTube.
Videos of you playing. Yeah, please don't. So do that. Yeah, do it a bunch, 100 times. Get to the end of the song, go back to the beginning, play through it, play over the saxophone solo, play over the piano solo, play over the bass solo. Just how do you sound over this instrument, over that instrument? Play the melody with the band. Listen, like we're saying, listen for the phrasing. Listen.
Sure. Play the bass line over the drum solo.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Okay, so we've got that, and then the last thing on the list: take it to the session. So now you have learned the tune, and this is ultimately right. Is music. It should be played with other humans. So yeah, show up to the session with your tune. Call it.
Yeah, or get your friends together, or maybe you have a little band together, and play it with your band. Yeah. What I used to do, I'm sure you used to do this, is we used to go to jam sessions, and I'd write down the songs that I didn't know, and then I'd go home and I'd do this, and I'd learn the song, and then go back the next week and make sure that I called it right away.
Right.
While it's fresh in my head and trying to get used to this song, call it right away when you get there.
And if you're lucky enough to have a community of musicians who are more experienced than you are, to be giving you advice and giving you input, we were incredibly lucky to have so many musicians who were just knew more than us. Who were willing to put in a little bit of time after playing a tune to critique us.
Sure.
And sometimes...
sometimes critique us in not such a nice manner.
Yeah, well, which sometimes is just something as simple as, nope, go home, keep practicing. Yeah, come back again. So yeah, good luck with that, and let us know how it works out for you. If you're able to go through this whole process and take something to a jam session, and see how it works for you.
Should we leave it there?
Sure.
Thanks for watching, folks. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.